Usually don't remember. Okay, guys. Now, guys, questions 1 to 4. Calculate the value of investment to the nearest cent after a given period. Now, you can see, look at these. They're all like long-term loans, like 10 years at the same AER. To do this, okay, I could get 24,000 and I could multiply it by, I could add on 2%. But how many times do I have to add on 2%? 10 years. So I have to do it 10 times. What's a quicker way of writing this out 10 times? What would be a quicker way of writing that out 10 times? Just to the power of 10. The power of 10 means you multiply it by 10 times. Now, another way of doing this would be just to use your formula. F equals P bracket 1 plus I to the power of T. Actually turns out to be the same thing. So what we have here is this, guys, okay? The P value is 24,000. The T value is 10 years. The I value, now we're not using 2%. What are we actually using? It's 2 divided by 100, which is what Connor said there. It's 0.02. Now, what happens is this thing is 24,000, and then it's going to be 1 plus 0.02. And what is 1 plus 0.02? It's 1.02. So that increases it by 2%. And for how many years are we going to do that? 10 years, okay? So 24,000 multiplied by 1.02 to the power of 10. That's nothing new. That's nothing you haven't done before. And you get 29,255.87. So 29,255.87. Easy enough. All first 4 questions are all the same. We then move on to questions 5 to 7. Calculate the amount owed to the nearest cent after the given period. So I'll just do question 5. Once again, F equals P 1 plus I to the power of T. What's the I value? 0.06. So what's 1 plus I going to be? How many years? And how much did we start off with? 5,000. So you're increasing it by 6% 3 times in a row, and what you're going to get is 1.06 to the power of 3, and you read me that out earlier, 5,955. Yeah. So it's just amount owing means how much do you owe. It's like a loan. You had a loan of €5,000. How much do you own when there's an APR of 6%? APR means they're going to charge you 6% every year on your loan. So if we don't pay it off at all and we leave it for 3 years, what's going to happen is we're going to owe 5,955.08. Now these questions are very easy. It gets hard when you have to work in reverse. Okay? So as an example, question 10. That's okay with us. Calculate the investment value of 100 for each of the following, where appropriate, give the answers to 2 decimal places. Yeah. Yeah, for the last question, yeah. How'd you do 2.5%? 2.5 divided by 100, and it's 0.025, and then it's 1.025. You multiply it by 1.025, so it's going to be 4,000 multiplied by 1.025. That means you're increasing it by 2.5%, and you have to do it for 4 years in a row. That's it there. Okay. It's a good idea to ask the one with the fraction though, because it is off-putting. Now back to this one, okay? 1 year with 10% interest paid at the end of a year. So what's 10% of? We're going to multiply that. We want to increase it by 10%. So how do we do that? 100 multiplied by 1.1 gives me €110. Now, 1 year with 6% interest paid after 6 months. Now here's the interesting part. If we get paid an extra 6% after every 6 months, how many? A year comprises of 12 months, yeah? Okay? And if the deal is we get 6% increase after 6 months, How many times per year are we going to increase it by 6%? Twice. After the first 6 months, we increase it by 6%, and after 12 months, we have to increase it again by 6%. So we need to increase it by 6% twice. So look at this. Part 2 is going to be €100. We increase it once by 6% for the 6-month period. Sorry? Parts, okay? So guys, if this is the first 6 months, you increase 100 by 1.06, you get €106. After 6 months, you're sitting on €106. Everybody got that? Then for the next 6 months, you have €106, and that in turn gets increased by 1.06. Now what would that be? 106 multiplied by 1.06? 112.36. Okay? Now, if you can see that, guys, I was asked a question, could you not just do 12%? Now, if you did 12% of 100, and you added on 12%, it would be 112. You see this number turns out to be an ever so slightly bigger number, yeah? That's because we added on our first €6 6 months in, and our next 6% was measured on a bigger number, 106, as opposed to 100. Okay? We'll do another one. Yeah, that's another way of doing it. Another way of doing it is you count how many increments you have per year. So if it's every 6 months, yeah? If it's every 6 months, it means you do it twice a year. And if you invested for a full year, you can just do it as 100 multiplied by 1.06 to the power of 2, and that will also come out as 112.36. Alright, now, question 3, guys. What'd you say? Okay, so I'll do question 3 up here. 12 months with 2% paid after every 2 months. Once again, it's 1 year, which is 12 months. We're going to increase it how many times in 1 year? If we do it every 2 months, we increase it every 2 months. Huh? We're going to increase it 6 times. 6 times, we're going to increase it by 2%. So we get our €100, what we start off with, and we're going to increase it by 2%. Does everybody get that that's increasing it by 2%? How many times are we going to do it in a year? 6 times, so to the power of 6. Okay? So 100 multiplied by 1.02 to the power of 6, and we get 112.62. Okay? Do you see the way they're all very close to each other in numbers? You see we've ended up with 112 3 times in a row. What that's basically trying to tell you is this. Okay? They can dress up a deal. They can say, I'll give you 10% after 1 year. You get €112 at the end of the year. I can say I can give you 6% after every 6 months. That got me 112.34 or 36. And then another deal is I'll give you 2% at the end of every 2 months. And oddly enough, because we're increasing it so frequently, the 2% actually turned out to be the best deal so far. Do you see that? Okay. Now, here's the... Yes? Oh, sorry, 110 at the end of the year. Sorry, my fault. 110. Still follows the same pattern. Okay. So, guys, deduce the annual equivalent rate AER for each. The annual equivalent rate. Okay. Sam, just do me a favor here. So, guys, what we have here is what we're using is the answers from the first three. What we're using is the answers from the first three answers, okay? So an example will be, if I give you AER stands for how much percentage I'll give you only once at the end of the year. What percentage increase I must give you. If you look at the first question, your final amount over your initial amount. What's your final amount over your initial amount? Your initial amount is always 100. What's the final amount for part 1? 110. What number is 110 divided by 100? 1.1. What does 0.1 stand for? So 10% for the first question. What about the second question? 112.36. 112.36 divided by 100. 1.1236. What is 1236 in percentages? 12.36%. So we increased it, but increasing it by 6% over 2 months, it's the same as increasing it at the end of the year. It's the same thing as increasing it by 12.36% at the end of 1 year. What about the third question? Part 3. It's 12.62. So it's 112.62 divided by 100, and what do we get? Huh? 1.1262. And what is that in percentage mode? 12.62%. Okay. I think so. A credit card charges 1.5% interest on unpaid monthly balance. If €1,000 is borrowed at the beginning of the month, what is the emphasis on the beginning of the month? So if I do 12 equal intervals, 1, 2, 3, that's third month, fourth month, fifth month, sixth month, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10, 11, 12. Alright. Start this way, right? So this is January. You get the gist. February, March, April, May, and that's December, okay? Now, what happens if I'm borrowing at the end of the month? What happens if I borrowed at the end of the month? How many months interest will there be till the end of the year? 11. But if I borrow at the start of the year, start of the month, there's 12 months interest, alright? So that's very significant. The word beginning and end of a month are quite significant, okay? Next thing. Interest is 1.5%. 1.5 divided by 100. Anybody? 0.015. Okay. Next thing. How many times am I going to increase my amount of €1,000? How many times do I have to increase it in 1 year? I have to increase it 12 times. Why do I have to increase it 12 times? Because it's 12 times in a year. I have to increase it because it says it's a monthly rate. Okay, so here's what I have to do. I have to put down t equals 12 increments. I have to put my I value as 1.015 and my P value as, anybody? How much did I start off with? Owen? I owe €1,000. So look at this. €1,000 and then 1 added on to 0.015. 1.015. I have to do it 12 times. Okay, and what's 12 times? Oh, that's not what I was looking for. 1,000 multiplied by 1.015 to the power of 12. And what do we get? 195.62. 1195.62. Everybody alright with that? Now, they asked me, what should the credit card company declare as APR for this card? Give your answer correct to 1 decimal place. What should I declare as APR? APR means if I was to charge it once at the end of the year, how much percentage should I charge to get the same number? So remember what we do for that? We do final divided by initial. And what do we get? 1195.62 divided by 1,000. That'll give me 1.12. That is 19.56%. Everybody happy enough with that? Alright, so basically, I could offer you a deal. I could say, I'll charge you 19.56% every year, or I'll charge you 1.5% every month. Which deal should you take, or does it matter? Doesn't matter. 1.5% every month will give you the same number as 19.56% at the end of 1 year. Okie dokes.